Hello everyone. Yesterday, what Goldman Sachs recommended regarding Indian Rupee to their investors. Second, MSCI Index rebalancing announcement is scheduled for tomorrow. What could we expect? Third, updates regarding Lenskart IPO subscription and quarterly results of Airtel, Titan and Power Grid. And fourth, how did US market close last night? All this we are going to discuss in a regular pre-market report video for today, 4th November 2025 for the Indian stock market in terms of Nifty and Bank Nifty. First, about Goldman Sachs on Indian Rupee. As we all know, in this year 2025, Indian Rupee is the worst performing major Asian currency, down around 3% due to the Trump tariff concerns and equity outflows. And Rupee recently touched its all-time low of 88.80 rupees against the US dollar. However, yesterday Goldman Sachs advised their client to take a bullish view on Indian Rupee using the option structure despite its recent weakness. Here, these are their reasonings. They are optimistic about the progress in India-US trade talks and the reduction in Russian oil imports by Indian refiners. So, Goldman Sachs said if US tariff on Indian goods are set at or below 25%, then rupee could appreciate 1 or 2%. Whereas in the worst case, even if the trade talks stalls means, then also RBI will step in and defend the rupee more aggressively near 88.8 rupees per US dollar. And so, as per Reuters.com, they even recommended a trade structure. They said buy put option on USD INR at strike price of 88 rupees with expiry in March 2026 with European knockout at 88.50. Here, knockout means it's a barrier feature. If the price of the underlying asset USD INR touches or crosses a specific level, the option automatically expires worthless, which means they are betting that rupee will strengthen from current 88.80 levels to around 87 to 88 levels by March. So stronger stable rupee is always positive for the market. Then second topic about MSCI Index rebalancing. Tomorrow, November 5th, MSCI Index rebalancing announcement is scheduled and the implementation date will be November 25th. This could bring some interesting movements across large cap stocks. As we know, MSCI Index is tracked by thousands of global passive funds. If a stock's weightage increases in the index, then all these passive funds have to buy that stock. And if weightage decreases, then they have to sell. So this rebalancing can trigger significant fund inflows and outflows. Hence, I tried to find whether any analyst released about it or not, but so far I'm not able to find one. However, from my analysis, I believe Reliance Industries, Bharti Airtel and Titan Company could potentially see an increase in weightage given their recent market cap expansion, consistent earnings growth and strong institutional inflows over the past few months. On the other hand, ICICI Bank and IT stocks might see a slight reduction in the weightage, possibly due to relative underperformance in recent sessions and rotation within their sector. However, please note this is purely my analysis and I could be completely wrong. Don't make any investment decision based on this. Take this like a pinch of salt and do your own research. Either way, tomorrow is the announcement. So today evening, some analyst might release their analysis. If so, then I will make a video about it tonight. Then third topic about quarterly results and Lenskart IPO update. Yesterday, Bharti Airtel, Titan and Power Grid released their Q2 results in the aftermarket hours. Here, Bharti Airtel reported a solid quarter with profit up 14%, revenue increasing 5% and ARPU improving to 256 rupees. Operationally, everything looked stable and the results were in line to slightly above the estimates, so we could say it's positive. Then Titan delivered a very strong performance with profit was increasing 59% and revenue was up 22%. So this one clearly beat the expectations and that too without the October month festival sales influence. On the other hand, Power Grid posted flat revenue but a 6% profit decline due to weaker margins and lower operating efficiency. The interim dividend was announced 4.5 rupees per share. Hence, overall the results was neutral to slightly weak. Either way, all these stocks will be on focus today. Then about Lenskart IPO subscription update. At the end of day 2, Lenskart IPO subscription status is 2.01 times. Retail investors subscribed 3.33 times, qualified institution subscribed 1.64 times, and NII subscribed 1.88 times. So the response is decent but not overwhelming like some recent IPOs, and the grey market premium has cooled down. On day 1 it was around 24% but now it's around 16%, which is around 60 to 70 points premium. This indicates cooling sentiment but still positive pre-listing interest. Personally, I still think the valuation is very steep at 236 times PE, but that's just my view. Just for info, today there is another IPO. Grow will open for subscription and closes on November 7th. The price band is 95 to 100 rupees per equity share. Now moving to US market. Last night before the market opening, US ISM manufacturing PMI data was released for October month. The actual data came as 48.7, which is lower than the analyst expectation and also lower than the previous month. So this made the Dow Jones to close negative. However, Amazon signed a $38 billion deal with OpenAI to supply computing power on a 7-year deal with NVIDIA graphics processing units. This news made Amazon and Nvidia shares to increase significantly and made S&P 500 and Nasdaq to close positive. So in the end, last night Dow Jones fell 0.5%, S&P 500 gained 0.2% and Nasdaq rose 0.5%. In case of VIX, it remained roughly the same. Then about oil, it didn't change much. At the time of this video, WTI crude trading at 61 US dollars per barrel and Brent crude is at 65 US dollars per barrel. Regarding Indian ADR, as it is, both the banking stocks closed positive, but IT stocks closed negative. If we calculate the arbitrage, ICICI Bank ADR and HDFC Bank ADR both showing positive 0.5% arbitrage difference, whereas Infosys and Wipro ADRs both showing negative 1% arbitrage difference, and Reliance GDR showing no fresh movement. So banking stocks showing positive arbitrage, but IT stocks showing negative arbitrage, likely due to the stronger rupee expectation, reduction in the rate cut optimism, or due to poor Accenture business update. Lot of things going on regarding the IT stocks. Then in case of GIFT Nifty, early morning today, it's trading at 25,897. Equating that with the spot market, it's indicating flat to 20 points gap up opening. As a summary, Goldman Sachs came out positive on Indian Rupee, which is good for Indian market and import heavy sectors. MSCI Index rebalancing announcement is tomorrow, which could trigger flows into the respective stocks, which as we know, we retail traders don't know which stock, and we could expect analyst release in the aftermarket hours. Whereas globally, US market closed mixed and so the Indian ADRs and GIFT Nifty. And overall, domestically, earnings are strong and sentiment is improving. Globally, manufacturing data is weak, but AI spending story remains strong. Just for info, at present, RBI is scheduled a meeting with the India's top bank. So based on that meeting outcome, also could influence the market today. Moving on about institution, in the cash market for the fourth straight session in a row, FI was net sellers, the net sold for 1,900 crore rupees, whereas DA net bought for 3,510 crore rupees. Then on the derivative market, participant-wise open interest analysis, index future open interest barely changed, whereas on the index options, the call options open interest unwound 4% and the put option open interest added 15%. So the PCR ratio increased from 0.66 to 0.8. Then moving to stance, in the index total options, all the participants reduced their respective stance compared to Friday. Client holding net 8% open interest favoring the bullish position. Then FII and property traders having net 4% and 3.2% of their open interest respectively on the bearish side. Coming to the future index case, client having 68% of their open interest on the long side. On the other hand, FII and property traders having 84% and 56% of their open interest respectively on the short side. Who is correct and who is wrong, only time will tell. Then, as per stock open interest, Patanjali, Suzlon, Colgate Palmolive, Blue Star, Bosch, Shree Cement, and Voltas are some of the 36 stocks that got an increase in open interest along with a negative close, indicating the short build-up. On the other hand, Power Grid, Dauber, Coal India, Lupin, Divis Lab, and Angel One are some of the 92 stocks that got an increase in open interest with a positive price close, which means these stocks got the long build-up. About the things to look out, earnings wise, SBI, M&M, Adani Ports, Adani Enterprise, Indigo, Indian Hotels, Paytm, Suzlon, and Berger Paints are scheduled to release their results. So, banking, auto, infrastructure, and hospitality sectors will be on focus. Macro wise, there is nothing that I'm aware of that could influence our market is scheduled release during our market hours. However, in the night, US October month trade data and number of job openings available at the end of September month are the important things we need to keep an eye out today. Coming to technical, Nifty opened 30 points gap down and traded range bound throughout the session, then closed at around 25,760. Thus, on the daily chart, Nifty formed a bullish candle with upper and lower shadow, indicating a positive trend. However, the lower high lower low formation continued for the third consecutive session after Nifty hit 26,100. In addition, Nifty remained below the 10-day exponential average but sustained above the 20-day and 50-day exponential average as well as above the Bollinger Band middle line. Furthermore, RSI at 59 maintained a bearish crossover while MACD was on the verge of a bearish crossover. All these indicating that while some underlying strength persists, Nifty may remain in a consolidation phase with 25,700 to 25,600 zone acting as the key support. Below this, 25,500 remains as the crucial support level. On the higher end, 25,900 to 26,000 zone is expected to act as the hurdle. In case of Bank Nifty, it opened 50 points gap down. However, it increased after an initial volatility and was positive throughout the session, then closed at 58,100. Thus, on the daily chart, Bank Nifty formed a bullish candle within the previous day's range, indicating a positive trend. In addition, it traded above all key moving averages with RSI at 65 moved upward but remained in a negative crossover, while MACD showed a bearish crossover, signaling short-term caution despite the prevailing positive sentiment. Hence, 57,650 to 57,700 zone is likely to act as the important support with resistance at around 58,250 to 58,350, and a decisive breakout above 58,350 could pave the way for an upside move towards 59,000 in the short term. Regarding the options front, the maximum call option open was at 26,000 strike, followed by 25,900 and 26,100, with maximum new call option rating at 25,750, 25,800 and 25,850 strike. On the other hand, the maximum put option open was at 25,700 strike, followed by 25,600 and 25,500, with the maximum new put option rating at 25,700, 25,650 and 25,600 strike. Thus, from options data, Nifty's strong resistance is at 26,000 with support in the range of 25,700 to 25,500. So that's all in this video. Hope you got some useful information. Please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video so that it will help me beat the algorithm and also motivate me to do more. Please don't make any investigation based on this as I'm not a SEBI registered advisor. I'm doing this for me and viewers educational purpose only. Thanks for watching.